Once upon a time, there was a woman who did not change. After the treachery of Abu Simbel handed Jahiliyyah to Mahmud on a plate and replaced the idea of the city's greatness with the reality of Mahmud's, Hind sucked toes, recited the La ilaha, and then retreated to a high tower of her palace, where news reached her of the destruction of the Alat temple at Taif, and of all the statues of the goddess that were known to exist. She locked herself into her tower room with a collection of ancient books written in scripts which no other human being in Jahiliyyah could decipher, and for 2 years and 2 months she remained there, studying her occult texts in secret, asking that a plate of simple food be left outside of her door once a day, and that her chamber pot be emptied at the same time. For 2 years and 2 months she saw no other living being. Then she entered her husband's bedroom at dawn, dressed in all her finery, with jewels glittering at her wrists, ankles, toes, ears, and throat. "Wake up!" she commanded, flinging back his curtains. "It's a day of celebrations." He saw that she hadn't aged by so much as a day since he last saw her. If anything, she looked younger than ever, which gave credence to the rumors which suggested that her witchcraft had persuaded time to run backwards for her within the confines of her own tower room. "What have we got to celebrate?" the former grandee of Jahiliyyah asked, coughing up his usual morning blood. Hind replied, "I may not be able to reverse the flow of our history, but revenge, at least, is sweet." Within an hour the news arrived that the Prophet Mahmud had fallen into a fatal sickness, that he lay upon Aisha's bed with his head thumping as if it had been filled up with demons. Hind continued to make calm preparations for a banquet, sending servants to every corner of the city to invite guests, but of course nobody would come to a party on that day. In the evening Hind sat alone in the great hall of her home, amid the golden plates and crystal glasses of her revenge, eating a simple plate of couscous while surrounded by glistening, steaming, aromatic dishes of every imaginable type. Abu Simbel had refused to join her, calling her eating an obscenity. "You ate his uncle's heart," Simbel cried, "and now you would eat his." She laughed in his face. When the servants began to weep, she dismissed them too, and sat in solitary rejoicing while candles sent strange shadows across her absolute and uncompromising face. Who is there?" he called out. "Is it thou, Azrael?" But Aisha heard a terrible, sweet voice that was a woman's make the reply, "No, messenger of Allah, it is not Azrael." And the lamp blew out, and in the darkness Mahmud asked, "Is this sickness then thy doing, O Alat?" And she said, "It is my revenge upon you, and I am satisfied. Let them cut a camel's hamstrings and set it on your grave." And she went, and the lamp that had been snuffed out burst once more into a great and gentle light, and the messenger murmured, "Still, I thank thee, Alat, for this gift." Not long afterwards he died. Aisha went out into the next room, where the other wives and disciples were waiting with heavy hearts, and began to mightily lament. But Aisha wiped her eyes and said, "If there is any here who worship the messenger, let them grieve, for Mahmud is dead. But if there are any here who worship God, then let them rejoice, for surely he is alive." It was the end of the dream.